What is up, LC heads, and happy celebration to all of you enjoying it out there. So it is time for our morning after video. Yes, it's been about 24 hours since we've had this character. We've all been grinding in the Barrens trying to figure out what's what. So I need to correct a couple things that I was wrong about. First of all, before I forget, when I was running him in the last vid, I did say that the UR arc, Council of 10, did not work on Roland. That is a mistake. It does work on Roland, and this is kind of interesting. It just wasn't filling his abilities up, so I wasn't actually seeing it proc abilities the way that I'm used to seeing it on other characters. Because Roland's abilities have a what's the best way to put this? They have a higher SCT cost. Okay, if you take a character like Melee and you give her skill charge 1, she'll start the fight with 2 full stocks of her S1. That's totally worth it. For 3 SC, you're starting the fight with 2 stocks of skill 1. If you give Roland skill charge 1, you will start the fight with his S1 a quarter charged. Okay, so that means that he has longer cooldowns on his abilities. So what does that mean? What does that translate to? Well, it translates into skill charge abilities not being as good on him. Don't worry though, skill stock abilities are in. The reason I say that is because it looks like Roland is built for some apple pie shenanigans. Now, why do I say that? Because in order to access all of Roland's damage, his 150% damage and his crazy bonus to damage cap, there is a condition that you have to fill. Now, they're a little bit vague about it. We can look at it. But pretty much you have to use up 500 MP. That's the magic number. If you get to 500 MP, all his damage is unlocked. We are talking about Heroic Lord. Light damage 30%, damage cap 8,000. Okay. When in trance, boost skill damage and damage cap. Effect changes based on the amount of MP used when activating trance. That's kind of the part that gets me, right? The amount of MP used when activating trance. At MP 500 or more, damage plus 150%, damage cap plus 30,000, and that's what we're all trying to get to. So what does that mean? To me, and I could be wrong about this, if I am, somebody please correct me, it means that you want your Roland to burn through some MP, about 300 of it before he goes into trance, and a Roland with around 300, 350 MP, he's going to do that by using apple pie. So by using apple pie, it costs 200 MP and it drains the rest of your MP. So right there you're using 300 or more just to drop apple pie, right? And then hopefully you can get some basic attacks in. You can charge his MP all the way back up to full, right? And then when you go into your trance mode, that costs you another 200 MP, and just like that you're at 500. So I think that is probably the way that it works, because it would just line up so elegantly with the way that apple pie works. So yeah, I think that's the play there. Now, if I'm wrong about that, somebody please explain this to me, but that's the way I'm looking at it. I wish they elaborated a little bit more on it, but it is what it is. I do think it works like that. So this guy can do that. I don't think he's charging his MP up as fast as Rimuru, but Rimuru is dual wielding. So with his basic attack, he has twice as many hit counts to actually proc the MP steal. Roland, on the other hand, he's not going to proc it as often, but when he does proc it, he's going to be stealing more MP, as he's going to be doing typically more damage per swing than Rimuru is with his basic attack, and that is because of all the double hander and all of that stuff that Roland has. So it is nice to see his MP go up by 80 or 90 or 100 at a time. And where I've been testing it, I can get his MP to fully charge. It takes about 4 swings of his sword, and then he's going to be back up to at least 80 MP. That's just on average what I've clocked. And this is against a single enemy. If you're fighting 3 or 4 enemies at the same time, you can literally swing your sword once or twice, and you'll be at half MP or full. So that does open up some possibilities for him to not only apple pie himself, but he might be able to apple pie somebody else on the team. And while you're burning through that person's apple pie, Roland will run up and start doing basic attacks on whatever you're fighting. And hopefully, by the time you are done burning through your character's apple pied kit and you get back to Roland, his MP is charged and he can drop another apple pie. So that is what I mean when I say applesauce, because Rimuru can totally do that. Rimuru can give somebody apple pie. By the time you're done burning through it, he's got enough MP to throw another apple pie. I've tested this. It works out very well. You might need to finesse it a little bit, but it's a pretty impressive thing to do. So that is part of the reason why I say that skill stock is going to benefit this guy more. Right? Why spend 3 SC on skill charge? That's only going to give you a quarter of a charge when you can spend that 3 SC, and when he drops his apple pie, you'll have an extra skill stock. So for that 3 SC, you will at least get a whole extra skill to throw. And you're pretty much guaranteed to do it because, I mean, that's one of the first things Roland's going to do. You're probably going to throw... what is it? His I forget exactly what his passive thing does. You know, you're gonna put up his buff, and then you're just going to throw apple pie, fully charge his kit, and start going to town. Take a small break to get your MP back up, right, and go into trance mode. So why not? Let's do that real quick, just to see how it goes. And you know what? We'll try to drop his special too. I don't think I showed off his S4 all that much. No, I didn't. I didn't show off his special at all in the original vid that I made. So we did switch up the arc on him. Oh, whoops. We did switch up the arc on him. Right, so now we can call forth our special. We can kind of look at that. So I brought my little robot and my favorite heathen. These guys are just here to, I don't know, because I was kind of just checking his damage cap. And if you have allies with you, Roland actually gets an increase. You know, it's not his damage cap. He gets an increase to his hit count. That's what I was looking at. A few extra hits here and there go a long way with cleaning out these birds. So let's do that. That's right. If you have 3 people in your party, besides Roland, his S3 gets +9 to the hit combo. That's pretty damn impressive. And yeah, my favorite android wishes she could do that. I think that's a pretty damn awesome compliment for Roland. We'll talk about him in the android here in a minute. So I'm going to want to use his charisma just because it's great. Right, and then we will apple pie, which he's good at because he's hard to flinch. Even though they smacked him, he still managed to get the apple pie off. This golem is already glowing. Right. So what are we doing? These damn birds are all scattered. So I'm going to try to get away from the golem. So I will jump all the way over here. Drop her S3. Smash a bunch of these birds. Drop another S3. I love how that does damage to everything around him. And we'll start dropping our S1. The birds aren't as bunched up as they normally are because there's other targets to go after. see. Oh, we need to get our heathen some support. We'll just hop over there with our S2. Bam. Yeah, the ogre can catch some of these hands too. Wow. Part of our party actually survived. So we're in a pretty decent spot. We're surrounded by enemies. I'm going to want to switch to our basic attack now. Because I only have 66 MP, so we can't exactly go into trance mode yet, but let's see how fast we can get our MP back. Here we go, basic attack. Yo, they ran away from me. Wait, who casted that? Okay, so there we go. We're back up to 300. I don't think we were hitting anything while that spell went off. Who did that? Was that Zlorg? No, regardless, we're back up to 300 MP now. We can throw another apple pie if we want, but seeing as how we can only have one skill stock of our abilities when we go into trance, this is a pretty good time to go into trance because I have just about one of each ability charged up, so we're not going to be throwing away any of our kit by going into trance. There we go. Here's our S3 doing great damage. We want to at least be able to use our S4 before we absolutely annihilate this fool. Here he is. Quick stat check. I think we're only at 2981 strength because we're not at full health. Hold on a second. Strength does go up by a decent amount just from being healed. There we go. We're at least at 3794. So his strength did go down. That's because I had to fit apple pie into his build. That is 12 SC. Totally worth it though. Totally worth it. Right, so we have our S4 charged. Let's drop it. And he doesn't have breaker on him anymore. I'm like, we don't need to break. We'll just sheer damage our way through here. No big deal. Not a shabby special. Especially when your ability kit is hitting for like 70,000 now. Ideally though, you would do this inside of a boss's break bar and then hopefully still have like an S1 to throw at the end. So yeah, the only thing I really have left to test is the skill salve. And of course we're back to full 300 MP, by the way. Yeah, skill salve, I need to test that. It would be nice to activate that at the very end and get 100% to your SCT recovery speed while you are in trance mode. It's effectively going to let you throw twice the ability kit when you're in trance, effectively doubling your damage from your kit while you're in trance. So that would be a big deal if it works right. I still have to test it. It is a pretty big investment though. That's 9 SC just to build that, just to bring that ability. And then I think you have to wait till at least like 2 minutes into the fight. But for a nasty boss, I think that works well because you're going to be able to get that right out of threshold. All right. So yeah, let's quickly go over my Roland. Just kind of see how I have him built. We'll talk about a few things that I've noticed that work for him, and like I said, some things that don't work for him that well. Like I said, the skill charge abilities, I think you're better off going for skill stock if you're gonna do that, and make sure you have apple pie or honey elixir to go along with it, or have somebody else honey elixir him. Remember, Roland doesn't, he doesn't have to bring his own honey elixir. Your healer can do that. Somebody else in the party can do that. Or if everybody else in the party is like a straight up damage character and Roland is kind of the light element glue that's holding the party together, then obviously Roland can bring apple pie or something like that. He's not bad at throwing it, right? He's still going to be able to throw it while a lot of other casters are getting flinched. So, and of course, it should help him get through that 500 MP threshold, right? Because you're burning 300 of it instantly by throwing one apple pie. If you're not using apple pie, you're going to have to find some creative way to burn through 300 MP before you go into trance mode. Now, you can do that with sharp eyes, I do believe. I mean, if it's counting it, right? If it's just counting all of the MP that you use, you know, plus your transformation, then I guess it should count all the MP that you use on sharp eyes. But you just got to stay on top of that, and you got to be careful because you can drain through your MP too fast, and then, well, you're going to be standing there doing a bunch of basic attacks trying to charge your MP back up. I have found that between apple pie and sharp eyes, it's a bit much to have both of them on at the same time. So I was like, wait, I put the sharp eyes on in order to burn through MP, right? And if apple pie is already doing that for me, well, then I need to take sharp eyes off and save 9 SC and be better at managing my MP. So I don't think I'm really missing the 30% extra damage from sharp eyes, just because I'm getting 150% extra damage in his transformation mode anyway. I'm really not too worried about it. And like I said, instead of that sharp eyes, I would probably rather bring the skill salve. So there's my slot for that whenever I do get around to testing it. I don't know if I would run skill salve with the apple pie. that's 21 SC. And I mean, I guess this guy, has room to do that. At least with him, you can. With some heroes, if you take up 21 SC out of their kit, I mean, they're going to be going in there glass cannon AF. And Roland's already so damn tanky out of the box. Here's what I did with mine. I went all attack with his gear. He even has, this gear plate that's giving him 35 more to his attack, right? I will say this. I think this guy can really benefit from a good shield. Like a really good shield. Any accessory that increases your chance to guard, man, I am tempted to swap out this mithril relief for something that, I don't know, I've seen a couple different shields. I think there is one or two good ones. And the reason I say that is if we look at his skills, he has something that increases your chance to guard. I'm actually seeing guard proc. When guard first came out, me and a lot of other content creators complained about it because you can take up 20 SC in abilities that only proc when guard goes off. And since guard only has like a 1 or 2% chance, you're tying up 20 SC of abilities that will only proc here and there in a blue moon. So it was just never worth it. None of the tanks that came out ever had a high enough guard chance. But I gotta be honest, I've been seeing this guy guard a lot, so I'm like, did they tweak that? Did they mess with that? Did they change the guard chance a little bit? Let's see, he does have, where is it? Is it Chivalrous Mindset too? Nope, that's just giving you more attack and more defense from your gear. I was just looking at this. Not Divinity Shield. Here we go. I think it's X Guard. Yeah, when guard is equipped, damage taken during guard minus 50%. When hit points drops to 50% or lower, guard rate up. So he has a way of actually changing his guard rate and increasing it. Okay. The other thing too is he has guard charge, which is an expensive ability, and when guard is equipped, SCT slightly recovers when guarding. He needs all of the SCT recovery that this guy can freaking get, because remember, his abilities take a long time to recharge, especially compared to other damage characters that have just dropped. So, if he can get SCT recovery from guarding, that's going to help you. And obviously guarding's good. It's going to cut down some of the damage. So You have to give him Magic Guard, I believe, but I think it's worth it for him because all these different things proc from guarding. So that includes magic. If you pay 4 SC, you now have a chance to guard when somebody throws magic at you, and off of that you can use guard charge. So yeah, there's more SCT that you're getting from guarding because you're now guarding against magic as well. Guard charge works with guard and with magic guard, right? And of course heal guard. When guard is equipped, hit point recovers slightly when guarding. Again, that doesn't just say you only guard when it's physical damage. You can heal guard off of magic guard as well. So I think spending 4 SC to unlock magic guard is totally worth it for this guy. Unless you're going somewhere where there's no magic at all and you don't have to worry about it, then obviously you can click that off and that's 4 SC that you can save, right? I just think that some of these guard abilities are worth it for him. It all depends on how you want to balance him. Yo, if I wanted to just go full assault, there's 8 SC that I could save right there. I could take off guard charge and heal guard, right? Vigilance I would always leave on just because it's only 2 SC and it does increase the amount that that he's going to be able to guard. It increases your percent chance, I do believe. Although it's not much, it all does stack up in the end, especially when you have something like X guard, right? So I think some SC on some guard abilities is worth it for this guy just because of what he already comes built with. For just a couple SC, you can really maximize his guard ability, and I'm all for that. Even though this is like an attack build, like I still saved some SC to put into guard abilities because he already has so much riding on that. I mean, that's the best way I can say it, right? Other than that, just, you know, all around some crit. He has heroism, strength, defense, and hit points plus 10%. I think that's so nice. Can only imagine how much that's worth. So yeah, the only thing I'm missing here, purple orb is 10 SC or 11, but it's going to give me +1 to all my skill stock, right? And then I could get skill stock 2, skill stock 3, and that way when I use apple pie, I have like 6 or 7 abilities to throw, like what, 5 or 6 of the S1s, 4 of the S2s, 3 of the S3s. So you have like 13 abilities to throw, right? So I think I'm gonna try to do something like that, so that when this guy uses apple pie, he is just a bomb ready to go off. I'll be able to throw all his abilities, and then I can work on getting his transformation and getting enough MP in order to do that. So it's worked out pretty well for me, and I mean, I'm just telling you guys things that I've seen that worked. If you don't have apple pie, if you need a way for this guy to feed himself, where is it? Spirit Breath. I took Spirit Breath off of him because I was playing around with it and using it to charge his SCT, but since I'm spending 12 SC to bring apple pie and I'm using apple pie to charge, why wouldn't I take Spirit Breath off? Okay, but if you don't have apple pie and you're finding yourself waiting for a long time for this guy's kit to charge, put Spirit Breath on him. It's 4 SC, and then when the fight starts, start using God Heal on yourself. Every time he drops God Heal on himself, he will heal, or he will recover 3 seconds of SCT to all of his abilities. So it actually works fairly decently, especially if you're trying to solo something and he's supporting himself. Every time you throw in that heal, you're recovering SCT. The reason I was doing it was to test how flinch resistant he was. I was trying to throw God Heal in the middle of a black hole, in the middle of a bunch of miasma. It works. He can do it. It's also one of the few characters that can actually S1, S2 travel through miasma and through black holes. I've seen black hole spells go off and they start hitting him and he moves out of them, where other characters would stop moving instantly. They would get stun locked for a second and they would sit there and they would take all the damage from the miasma. It would stop their action, it would stop their attack. That is why a lot of heroes have a hard time in the map that I run against the ogre, right? Because there's so much crowd control there. Well, Roland just gets to cut all that shit right out. He's like, yeah, crowd control, I don't care about that because you can't flinch me, and I'm going to be able to throw God heals to support our healer even when the healer's flinched. I'm going to be able to apple pie throughout the worst of it. So I've been testing that a lot, and you know, the easiest way for me to do that at the time was just to continuously God heal myself and to make sure those God heals were going off even when there was like 20 enemies around Roland attacking him at the same time. And sure enough, he wouldn't have my vote of confidence if it didn't work. It did. The God heals always go off. He always manages to catch a heal. So that works, and you'll be surprised at how fast you can charge his kid up using his own God heal. That is if you have Spirit Breath on him, but like I said, if you're using Apple Pie or Honey Elixir to charge, you could just leave that Spirit Breath at home. And like I said, he doesn't have to actually have Apple Pie or Honey Elixir. Somebody else can bring that and somebody else can use it on him. So, I mean, that's 12 more SC that you could put onto attack or something like that, so he could serve the primary damage roll better, right? But like I said, whenever you find yourself in a fight where this guy is the holy super glue that is keeping the party together, I honestly think for a lot of content, this Roland has more than enough to support a team. Just because of his lack of flinching, he's going to be great at God healing. 20% more to everyone's defense, like that's nice, but that is nowhere near what other tanks are doing that are actually giving damage reduction and shit like that. I do not consider this Roland to be a tank like Ruto. Right, Ruto is giving everybody 50% damage reduction to all AoE damage, and he's taking more. He's actually tanking damage for you. And most tanks do something like that. Ruto will literally tank for you. He will actually aggro the whole room, and they are all forced to attack him. This guy, he's given 20% defense. Okay, he is a damage character coming off of being a tank. I don't know. It's the best way to describe it. It's like a Chippendales dancer that used to actually be a fireman. I don't know. Or I don't know. Would it be a Chippendales stripper that goes and gets a job as a fireman? Oh man, you wouldn't want that guy showing up to the fire. Fucking house is burning down. He starts doing a dance. Oh my god. Oh, the banter is terrible. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, I think that a lot of the people that were worried about Roland here following in his original form's footsteps, don't worry so much. They have definitely addressed that. It totally looks like they've built Roland to be way more aggressive and to be a primary damage roll. That's what he's doing with all this Super Saiyan business, this whole transformation of his. And hey, I gotta say, the biggest compliment I can give Roland, I gotta say his kit, before I get crucified, this is just IMO, and you guys know I love my A2, I love my Android, but Roland's kit is a lot more smooth than A2's. Okay, here's the thing, they're both going to be hitting for 50,000-60,000 damage a hit. They're nice chunks of damage. But if me and you are both hitting for 50,000 damage and my hit count is higher than yours, I'm going to come out on top. And that's what we have here. Roland has a chance. Well, he doesn't have a chance. If you have a party of 3 people besides Roland, he gets hit counts added to his ability kit. His S1 gets 3 more hits. His S2 can get, I think 6 more hits. And his S3 gets 9 more hits. That's absurd. So, with that alone, I think he's going to pull ahead of my favorite android just a little bit. It is nice seeing 50,000-60,000 damage come up on the screen, and he's going to have more of those counters coming up because he's just going to have a higher hit count, even though they are both double handing. Now, he's never going to have as high of a hit count as a dual wielder, but he's also not getting minus 30% or 60% to the damage. No, I think it's minus 40 for each hand. Whatever it is, he's not getting any minus. He's not getting any minuses to his damage. It's going to be easier for Roland to actually hit his damage cap. It's going to be substantially easier, and he's going to have a higher damage cap, right? And now they've given him more hits to actually catch him up to dual wielders. That is substantial when you add those things up together. Not only am I hitting for more, I'm capping better, and now you're not getting double the attacks that I am. You know, yeah, they've made that a lot closer. I like what they did there. You know, and on top of all of that, throw in all the tankiness that this guy comes with. You know, he can still be a great damage character and take advantage of guarding and tanking. And, our other damage characters aren't doing that. I mean, I don't see any damage builds for damage characters. I don't see melee guarding, you know. If she did, she would be able to live a lot longer, but she doesn't. Or she's not built like that. She doesn't have that in her kit. Roland can. He can get away with that. You spend a couple SC on some of these guard abilities because he already has a lot of that built in. It doesn't cost you much to maximize on that. So I think he's just tanky enough for people to get away with just going balls to the wall and building him for damage and just try to get his attack as high as possible. And he'll still probably survive just off of how tanky he is out of the box. And if he doesn't, then you can go back and you can lower his attack a little bit and readjust, increase his defense. Although I don't think you're going to be doing that too much. He's still super tanky even if you just go balls to the wall attack. So that's what I'm doing, having lots of fun with it, right? I think I've covered just about everything that I've missed, unless I'm not aware that I missed something. So please leave me a comment. Let me know. Guys, let me know what you think is going on with his trait, with Heroic Lord. Like, am I reading that right? Am I not seeing something? I think that's the way it works, you know, counting up the 500 MP. If I'm wrong, though, I'd really like to know about it. I don't think I am. It just plays in with apple pie too well. The math adds up too well with apple pie. So I do think that is the way that it works. And, you know, by dropping apple pie and then transforming, you are getting to that 500 MP threshold to unlock his full damage. So it is what it is. Very awesome character. Roland fans rejoice. And like I said, leave me a comment if I missed anything, and I will see you out there, LC heads. Later, everybody.